Good morning, guys. So I wanted to film the last part of my outdoor garden tour. I'm going to show you the plants that I keep on my front lawn area and also the side of my house. So if you're interested in seeing those plants, just keep on watching and I'm going to take you outside. So this is the side of my house. I have this really cute little rock wall and it just leads to my side door. And I tried to create kind of like a cottage style garden here. I tried to have a lot of beautiful flowering plants. So as you can see here, I have this ground cover that's still in bloom. And it's been blooming all summer. It has these really gorgeous magenta, kind of like actually like a bubblegum pink flower. It's really beautiful and I just love how it spreads out along the ground. And I'll try to give you guys the names of everything. I'll have to look at my tags because I forget at the moment. And then behind the ground cover we have foxgloves. So we have some of the Dalmatian pink ones. These guys are purple. I absolutely love foxgloves. They're really beautiful to have in a cottage style garden. They're just gorgeous. And I do sometimes prop them up with bamboo sticks because they kind of flop over sometimes. But look how they're just so beautiful. I want to try growing these from seed next spring and summer. This is a type of lupine. It has gorgeous purple flowers when it's in bloom. And I cut it back because it was looking kind of sad. I'll insert a photo so you can see what it looked like in full bloom. This is also a really pretty ground cover. It kind of looks like grass, but it has really adorable pink flowers when it's in bloom. And then over here I have a bunch of variegated iris that blooms purple and the flowers kind of smell like grape, which I absolutely love. And I think this is like a water lily behind it. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. Here's another view of the garden. And I'm really excited for next year to see what this looks like when some of these plants are more mature, because they are a little bit small. I want it to be completely filled in and just like gorgeous. So these guys are pretty cool. They kind of remind me of something you'd find like in the ocean, like a sea urchin or something. They do look kind of grassy and they have little flowers. That's a little blueberry bush. This guy is really, really cute. I think it's called cat's pajamas or something. And I just love how frilly the flowers are. And the leaves are really like lacy and delicate. And then over here I have more iris. That never actually bloomed for me. They're supposed to be white, I think. White and maybe peach. We've got another blueberry bush right here. This is the third blueberry bush. This guy's really pretty. I think my dad got this from the Home Depot. But I just love like the really delicate leaves and the flowers. It has like a whitish pink flower. And then this David Austin rose, it's going to be about 4 feet by 4 feet. It's an absolutely gorgeous plant. So I can't wait for this to get larger. And whenever the blooms die back, I make sure to cut it, to prune it, to encourage more flowering to happen. There we go, there's a close-up of the bloom. I love how frilly it is. David Austin has the best roses. They're just gorgeous. These guys don't look like much, but when they're in bloom, they have like a purplish pink flower. And it looks like something has been eating them. I'm thinking it might be slugs. I have to check that out. I'm not sure. I did put down slug bait, so hopefully that worked. Here's another angle of those foxgloves. So beautiful. So on the other side of this rock wall, I have these plants. So I have another one of those cat's pajamas plants. These are known as the pincushion plant, and they all have different colored blooms. These ones are purple, and these ones are more of like a pink color. And then this is pink again. A lot of them have died because they've been here for the whole summer. These don't look like much, but they are one of my favorite plants. It is called, it's a peony. Buds of Beauty. I'll insert a photo. They are absolutely stunning when they go into bloom. The blooms only last for about a week or so, but they are just breathtaking when they bloom. I do experience some issues with these. If you water them from above, they can get powdery mildew. So I try to only water them with a watering can and keep the sprinkler away from them, because the powdery mildew can kill the plant. Last year it was covered. Unfortunately it did come back, but yeah, try to water from the bottom and not hit the leaves when you water it. This guy was planted in my backyard last summer and it was getting too much shade, so I moved it here. In this location it's getting full sun, so it's really liking it. A lot of roses really thrive in full sun. And then these 3 little plants, they don't look like much, but when they bloom, they're really beautiful. I even actually love the leaves, even when they're not in bloom. Like, they kind of remind me of maybe like cilantro. They're really cute. I really enjoy them even when they're not blooming, now that I'm looking at them. But the blooms are so whimsical, and I'll insert a photo so you guys can see what they look like. Here's just another little angle of the garden. It's actually looking really nice. A lot of the flowers over here that I just showed you weren't in bloom, so I wanted to wait until it looked a little bit nicer when the flowers are out. This looked absolutely gorgeous in June. Everything was blooming, thriving. We have another round of flowers, so it looks really great. And then over here we have some hydrangea. My dad just planted these. They are let's see, I forget the name. The Let's Dance Starlight hydrangea. Apparently they can take full sun, so I'm hoping they do well in this location. And a lot of the blooms did kind of wither away, I think because it's in a little bit of shock since we just planted it. But this gives you an idea of what they look like. They're just such sweet flowers. They can be like purple, pink, or blue depending on the pH of the soil. And I love how they have the little tiny flowers in between the larger flowers. It's pretty cool. And then over here we have just like a normal blue hydrangea with dogwood. This guy got huge. I had to cut this back because it got so huge. The garden looks so beautiful right now. All the plants have grown a pretty nice size. They're about 3 years. I think this is year 3, so they just are really looking so full. So right here, this is an LA Dreaming hydrangea, and the buds are gorgeous. They can be purple, blue, or pink, and it just looks super happy. I forget what this is called, but I love the pop of purple that it adds. The limelight hydrangeas are ginormous. The blooms are just like so big. It's crazy how much they've grown, and they kind of get this like pink tint on the flower as they age. But this guy got so big. Like, look at this. That is huge. It's probably about the size of my head. And then on the other side we have the same limelight hydrangea. It's kind of leaning like this because I watered these plants yesterday, so they're a little heavy from watering. We have 2 more LA Dreaming hydrangeas next to it. It didn't bloom as much as I'd like. I think my dad pruned it back a little bit too much last fall, but I'm hoping if we don't prune it, we just remove the blooms, it will produce more flowers, because this type of hydrangea will bloom on old wood, so you don't want to prune it back too much because you could be pruning off next year's flowers. Another just normal original hydrangea with the blue flowers. And then this is a lilac bush. And then in this little shady area, these are plants that the last owner had planted. This is, what is this called? Oh my gosh. This is not my favorite kind of plant. I'm not a big fan of these. They're beautiful now that I'm looking at them, but it's not my first choice. I'll put the name on the screen, but these are really shade loving. And then we have this huge peony. Alright guys, well it got pretty hot during that tour, so I did take off my sweatshirt, and it's really humid. I just feel so sticky and gross. But I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my garden that is in the front and side of my house. Like I mentioned before, if you haven't seen my backyard, I'll link that video down below. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on my future videos. Okay, thanks for watching guys, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye! You comfortable? Kirsten, you found a comfortable spot? What you doing, Cocoa Bean? What you doing, little bean? Kirsten, look at ya. What's the spot?